I have made a Discord server where you can come in and ask for help, so drop some recommendations about future tutorials, or just hang out and talk about game dev and Unreal Engine. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so welcome to the final part of this series. In this part, we are going to cover player movement. In the last part, we had this example where we could just look around with our player, but right now I want him to be able to move too. So let's go here, window, content browser, open it. Well, if you notice, all the time my content browser is closed because I prefer to have it like that and press control space to open it, and then, but I think it's more simple to just have it docked. And let's go to input, and we want again to add some new input to move. We will move with the WASD keys. So let's add an input action and then it move. Let's open it. And again, our movement, it's going to be a 2D vector, a two-dimensional vector. And that's because, let me show you. We have again this coordinate system with the x-axis, the y-axis, here 1, -1, 1. This will not go again to infinity. And yeah, -1. And our input, here we will have W, where W will be to move forward. So the y-axis is basically the forward axis, and the x-axis is basically left and right axis. So if we W, A, D. So if we press W, we will move forward, S backwards, D on the right, and A on the left. Okay, so that's why our movement is a 2D vector. So we have made this input action. Let's go and add it to our input mapping context that we have over here. Add mapping here. Move. Okay. So in order to have multiple buttons correspond to a single action, you need to tweak some of the modifiers here. By default, if I add, for example, here D, which is, it will be, so the x-axis 1, so we don't need to add any modifiers to D. But when I add A, by day, we want this to be negative. Okay, so in order to do that, we need to add the modifier and add the negate in order to make it negative. Now, let's add S. No, not S, W. Let's add the W, but now we don't want the default option that is the x-axis. We want the y-axis. And in order to do that, we need to add the, oh, sorry. We here over here in the W, add the swizzle input modifier. This over here. And last, the S button, which is again like the W swizzle. And because it's on the, here in the negative side, negate. Okay, so that's our input done. Let's go to player and let's add our move event, IA move. Okay, and yeah. Now we have this action value over here. If we split again, we have an X and a Y value. So what will happen? We want with W to move forward, and with S we want to move backwards. So Y over here will take this over here will take values between -1 and 1. Okay, so and we want to move based on the forward direction of let me drop him in the level of this guy. Okay, the forward direction is this, so we will move forward and backward. Okay, so you can see, yeah, if I move this forward, if I move this guy forward, you can see his x coordinate is getting bigger, and backward it's getting smaller. So forward is the positive and backwards is the negative, just like here. Forwards positive, backwards negative. Okay, so we want to get the forward direction of our player, of our static mesh. Get forward vector. Okay, and then we want to multiply it by our y value. Okay, sorry, leave that. Search for multiply, and we want to have this to be a float. Press right click and convert to float. Have it like that. File save. Okay, so now we have the direction based on the y input. If it's positive, we will move forward. If it's negative, we will move backwards, because backwards is basically the negative, the opposite direction of forward. Okay, so we want also to do this for left and right. Positive is right, negative is left. Okay, so we want to get the right vector of our player and multiply it with our x over here. If you drag and drop this over here, you can see it says promote vector to float, and we can just do it like that. Okay, so now we have the direction we want to go, either forward or left, based on the input we have over here. All then we have to do is just add these up together and make the player move based on this direction we made over here. But if we add these two vectors, it will work fine if we move let's say I move forward, and if I'm pressing only W and I'm moving forward, and or I'm pressing D to move right. But what if I press W and D at the same time? We will have these vectors will basically get added, and we will have a vector right here that is bigger than these two. Okay, so in order to compensate for that, we need to normalize this vector to be on this range, because we have this range, and our vector over here will go out of this range, and if we go diagonally, we will move faster instead of even moving on one axis. You can see in many games where this mistake is made, and if you can move faster diagonally rather than in its axis. So in order to do that, we need to just normalize this vector. Okay, so then we have all this code over here covers the direction we want our player to go to, but this direction of course depends on some speed. Okay, and I have already made a variable here, player speed, which is a float. You can make this your own, just type here and add the variable and change its type, but delete for now. Delete it, and we can take this vector and multiply it by this variable. Okay, multiply it by the player speed, and again, in order for this to work, we needed to our direction to be multiplied by, just like our mouse over here, by world delta seconds, in order to move our player to move at the same speeds in every computer, independent of the frame rate. So let's convert it to float, and let's get delta seconds. Okay, and now our final vector over here is done. All we have to do is just take the static mesh and add some world offset. Okay, basically the amount we want to move at every time we press any button, WASD or whatever. And let's plug this over here. And right now my player speed is set to 600, which is a good, I guess, speed. And if I play, we can move. Okay. Let me delete this guy. Okay, and yeah, we can move. That's great. And we move based on where we are looking. And we can interact also with rocks. We can play soccer. Okay, so yeah. If you want me to cover something, leave it in the comments, and yeah, leave some feedback, or yeah. Bye.